I'm Cheryl. I am an employment coordinator with Bridging Employment Supports, which is part of the Canadian Mental Health Association, Waterloo-Wellington. My main office is in Waterloo at Blue Springs Drive, but both Links to Work and Bridging Employment Supports meet people in Waterloo, Kitchener, Cambridge, Guelph, and we can also meet people in other communities. We've met people in Fergus, in Ayr, I think even in Mount Forest occasionally. We do have offices at King Street, 67 King Street East in Kitchener, at 9 Wellington Street in Cambridge, at 147 Wyndham Street in Guelph. But we also can meet in libraries or other locations in the community if that's more convenient to the participant. The values for CMHA are imagine a community where when you need support, wherever you are, there's someone. And the mission is we work to build a community in which everyone has what they need to live meaningful lives. We build human connections that make it possible for people to achieve their greatest potential. We inspire and support people in achieving the quality of life that they desire. We are there whenever you need someone. And that really fits in well with, I think, what we do in employment in terms of building that better life for people. And a lot of times that starts with employment. Bridging Employment Supports offers in-depth career planning for participants, and that could be for short-term or long-term goals. We also assist individuals in accessing funded training if that's appropriate. We can refer them to other agencies for upgrading or language assessments and whatnot. And Links to Work is an individualized job search support. The individual would first meet with our program coordinator, who would assess their job search skills. There's something that they do called an employment wellness support plan, where they would look at people to see what it looks like maybe when they haven't done well in work, and were there signs, were there things like that happened at the time. Looks at strategies, also asks for what they need from our staff and in an employer to thrive. They also work with a job coach who does interview skills with them. So really bringing out what skills they have, how to best speak to employers, and that ends off with a mock interview so that they can really get a good sense about how they're doing in an interview. Then they would work with a job developer who can help them make connections to employers, who can help them tailor that cover letter and resume to the type of employer that they're looking at. And they can support them in organizing a job search, in keeping on track with their job search, and really just sort of being an all-round cheerleader. Some people have a lot of skill already, but they just really need someone to say, yes, you're on the right track and you're doing the things that you need to do. The job coach that we have also provides job maintenance coaching, which is something that we offer when someone has secured a job, and that is up to 12 weeks long. And it's really just around that insecurity that most people feel in starting a new job, somebody to talk things through, brainstorm things. And typically it would be a telephone call initially once a week, and maybe spread out a little bit more over that 12 weeks. As an employment coordinator with Bridging Employment Supports, my job is to assist participants in looking at short-term and long-term career goals. Part of that could be also in accessing funded training. And I can do a wide variety of things even outside of those. So for example, if a participant is looking at training and that they need to look and speak to the accessibility department at a college, I can go and attend that meeting with them, and based on what I've done with other people, I might be able to make other suggestions. I can also help support them in meetings with Ontario Works workers or doctors or housing, so that we sort of look at making sure that all the pieces are in place for what they need. So typically an individual would call and speak to our intake coordinator, who would assess their eligibility and suitability for our services. If it turns out that the person does meet eligibility criteria, then she would plan and sit down and meet with them and have a more in-depth conversation about what they're looking for. Are they looking for career planning? Are they looking for job search? Are they looking for both? We get referrals from lots of different ways within our agency, from other Employment Ontario partners, other community agencies, doctors, therapists, all kinds of ways. If you're going to refer a participant, ideally we would like it if we could speak to them directly, but if you would like to just have a conversation with our intake coordinator to get a better sense of whether the person you're thinking of would be a good fit, she's going to ask about a few different things. We support people with disabilities. Could be mental health, could be a physical disability, could also be learning disabilities. They can be diagnosed by a doctor, but they can also be self-identified. Oftentimes when people are working in job search, they do experience a bit of maybe depression or anxiety, so that that certainly qualifies them to have the support that we offer. The basic criteria for eligibility for our service would be a recent connection to the workforce. That could include volunteering in some cases. If somebody has had a recent hospitalization, then perhaps we might ask for a doctor's note just saying that they are cleared to go ahead and begin working. Typically our people they wouldn't be eligible if they were actually receiving employment insurance benefits, WSIB, or long-term disability. They would also need to be either unemployed or working under 20 hours a week, which is considered unemployed. For Bridging Employment Supports, the range is about 12 weeks. Some people stay longer and some people stay less, depending upon how quickly they come to that job goal. With Links to Work, it's a 52-week program, and again, sometimes people meet their goals before that, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but that's the general guideline.